Beautiful, man. So I got to say thank you, and I am so stoked for Tesla finally returning to Southern California. Going to be at Harrah SoCal on Sunday, June the 16th here, and it's been way too damn long since you guys have come back to Southern California on a headline tour.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. I'm trying to think when the last time we were there was.
The only math I could do was I was trying to think back. House of Blues Anaheim, December 6th, 2008 for the Forevermore tour.
Oh, man, that was a long time ago.
Decade ago.
So, yeah, well, it's time, right? It's time.
It's way overdue, and so looking forward to the show. And I always imagine for an artist like you, the hardest thing to do is put together a set list with as many albums and records you have over time. Is that the hardest part at this point in the career, is putting together a set list?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know how many records we've made, but I think we're at 14 or 15. And everyone says, "Oh, you got to play this, you got to play that, you got to play this, you got to play that." And then you got, all the songs that, were kind of the hits, if you will, right?
Yeah.
The ones that everyone knows. So it is a bit of a challenge, but we find a good balance between, the ones that you would expect to hear and then ones that are a few surprises in there as well.
And we got a couple new tunes over the past couple years, Time to Rock and Cold Blue Steel, those working into the set as well?
They're not in the set this year. We've got a brand new song that we just recorded.
Ooh.
And we're playing that these days, so I won't give it away. I'd be surprised, but there will be a brand new song in the set.
Awesome. Looking forward to that, and hopefully I'll get that to play on the radio. And, speaking of new music, I mean, it's been a few years now. Shock was, 2019? Are we slowly but surely working our way to a new album?
Don't know. Like I said, we've got like 14, 15 albums or something. And at this point in our career, we're getting up there in age. And to do a record, Shock took almost 2 years to make, on and off. And, I think maybe you'll see a couple singles a year, just so we can continue to play while we can still perform at the level we are, because we're still sounding pretty good and Jeff's still singing very good. And I don't want to waste 2 years trying to make a record. And, he winds up being 67. And, listen, the voice goes sooner or later. You know what I mean? And We've been very fortunate because his voice is still in very good shape. But when he can't sing anymore, that'll be it. We don't want to be one of those bands that's out there, playing past our shelf date, So it's more important for us to bring, the Tesla good time to people than to sit and lock up in a studio for, a year and a half for a record that, let's be honest, no one really cares anymore about new records from bands like us, and it happens to everyone. So I don't feel bad about it or anything. So I think the compromise is that, we do a few songs a year. And so you have a couple of new tracks to listen to, and we're not spending all this time in the studio trying to make a record, and then, before you know it, it's 2 years down the road, and it's 2 years more on our age, and, pretty soon we won't be able to play anymore.
So we're thinking quality over quantity too, right? And just put out the best.
Yeah,
right?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, Shock's a fine record, and, but you got to remember that was 6 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. Quite a ways away, but I'm glad to hear that there's going to be a new song in the set. And the other and then for people who are hardcore Tesla fans, I think they're going to love this song. It's right up it's right in the wheelhouse of what Tesla has done over the years. So you tell me, when you hear the song. I'm looking forward to it. The other new thing since the last time you played out this way will be not new anymore, but fairly new drummer, Steve Brown, who's been in the band, 2-3 years now? Yeah.
After COVID, Troy decided that, he wanted to go in a different direction than we were going in. And, everything was amicable. And, he's off doing his thing, and we're still out there doing Tesla, and you know, it's 40 years, so it's hard to keep 5 people together for 40 years.
And how's it been playing with Steve? I mean, you're the bass player. You're the guy that's got to lock in with him to take.
I love
2
it.
seconds.
He's great. It's great. I mean, he plays great. He's easy to be around, and he plays great, and it just makes everything run smooth, you know?
Can't wait to see him play. And, you know, looking in the rearview mirror for a second, selfishly, we were talking earlier about the set list. I was really kind of hoping you guys were going to be like a lot of bands out there doing those anniversary tours, because it is the 35th anniversary of the Great Radio Controversy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, when you get our age, it's always an anniversary of something, isn't it? So, you know, look to 2026 for maybe something special. You know, I can't really say, but, you know, that's when our first record come out. And, you know, maybe there'll be something on the horizon that'll be pretty nice for music fans that year, but, you know, we don't know.
Okay, yeah, because that's...
But, you know, right now, I mean, you know, listen, I mean, we're out there and, you know, we're playing everything that's represented, and we're still having a really good time playing for everybody, and people are coming out, and, you know, everything is good in the land of Tesla.
Well, digging into that anniversary a little bit, the Great Radio Controversy has always been my favorite album, and you're literally the first thing we hear on that record, press and play on that album or cassette if you want to go old school. But talk to me about making that one. I mean, especially even Hanging Tough, that riff. I mean, that's all you kicking off the album.
Yeah, I mean, that record was a fun record to make. It was after, you know, the success of our first album. We'd been out on the road with Def Leppard all them months and had been in arenas. And, you know, the difference between that record and the first one was when we made the first one, we had never played an arena in our lives. When we made the second one, we played hundreds. So it was like a baseball player that had got into the big leagues and had a great rookie year. And, you know, now it's his second year. And so we had a little bit more season and stuff. In regards to that bass riff, I don't know. I just started playing it. You know, some people said, oh, that's, you know, Over the Mountain by Jane's Addiction or this, that, and other. And I don't know what it was. You know, to me, it was more like this song called Wrathchild by Iron Maiden when I was a kid. That's kind of what I was because we all rip off something, you know what I mean? I mean, we all have, you know, so I was thinking that. I wasn't thinking. I didn't even know who Jane's Addiction was at the time. So, but yeah, it is my bass, and we still play that every night, and it's a nice moment in the set. You'll see, you know, there's a nice light laser thing that goes on in that. So, but yeah, that's a great record. I mean, you know, it's hard. Those first, well, they're all hard, but I mean, those first 4 albums were pretty special. Yeah. You know, we were firing on all cylinders, and then by the time we got to Bustin' Out, we were starting to have a little bit of problems, and we got back together, and Into the Now is a great album. Forevermore is a fantastic album.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, anytime we do a record, we try to do the best we can, given the time and the situation and where we are. And, you know, they're just snapshots of a time of where the band is at that particular time.
Curious if there was anything that carried over from the first album, like anything that left on the table from Mechanical Resonance that you took into the Great Radio Controversy.
No.
So it was written all brand new.
But the song Can't Stop, which is on Psychotic Supper, was one of the songs from the demos of the first album.
Did you guys look at that one for the Great Radio Controversy or completely forgot about it?
No. We were just past it. And then when we got to, when we got to making Psychotic Supper, that thing reared its head again, and we wound up doing it. And then, What You Give was for the second album, but Jeff didn't have the lyrics for it yet.
Oh, really?
So it took him until Psychotic to put that together.
So
we pretty much every time we go in, we do all new stuff. There's quite a bit of old stuff that's sitting in the can that maybe one day will be put out in some form or another in a box set or something. But that'll depend on Universal, the parent company, and us, and coming to an agreement on this that. Sooner or later it'll come out. I just don't know when. But one day, before we're all dead and gone, I'll empty the vaults and put everything out there.
Well, I really love that you bared everything with your book, Son of a Milkman, and being so open and forthright about not only your dad, but struggles with depression and anxiety and mental illness. And imagine that was pretty cathartic for you.
It was. It was kind of liberating to kind of put all that out there and, just say, look, here it is. This is what it is. And, judge me if you want. If you can relate, hopefully it'll help you. And it was a very therapeutic thing doing that. So I'm glad I did it. And, I tell people it's all the way I saw it, because it's not really a book per se about Tesla in general. It's a book about me and how I saw being in Tesla and everything else in my life. So if we're Frank to write a book, or Jeff, or Tommy for that fact, or even Troy, it would be, the Tesla history would probably be different from each guy as we remember it.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Is there a volume 2 in you, or do you think you said everything you needed to say in the first one?
No, I said everything I needed to say about that. I am working on another book, but it's more of a fictional story of a small town in upstate New York and about all the crazy people that live there and all the weird shit they do. Kind of like a David Lynch kind of film. Imagine Blue Velvet, and we'll see how I do with that. But the same guy that wrote Son of the Milkman with me, Chris Epting's working on it with me. But,
awesome.
I'm always working, so I just got to find the time to sit down, and it's all there in my mind and, the rough outline, and I just haven't committed to doing it. But there'll be another book come out.
Interesting, and good to hear that you're working on a fictional book. And I imagine, with an album, you got deadlines and recording studio and all that, where you're kind of stuck to, you have to be somewhere. But for a book, you can kind of take all the time in the world, I guess.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. And then, I've got this painting stuff I do. And, I produce bands, I manage bands. I stay pretty busy. But, right now, Tesla's still priority number one. And while I can still do it, while we're healthy and happy, we're going to continue to keep on keeping on.
Awesome. Well, last couple of things I got for you, Brian. I appreciate all the time. Speaking about your producing and managing and working with young talent out there, any bands that you want to throw out that we should be keeping an eye on?
Well, there's a band called Violet Breed out of England.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. It's this English kid and this bass player, producer, manager guy from a band from Sacramento. And that's more of a pop record. That'll be coming out real soon.
Awesome. Well, look forward to checking that out. Last thing I got for you, we're an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica every night at 10 p.m., which you're going to be a part of. And
speaking of Mandatory Metallica, I manage a Metallica tribute band.
Oh, no way.
And a very good one called the Four Horsemen out of Akron, Ohio.
Awesome.
So go see them. They're great.
Awesome. I was going to say, didn't you guys share management back in the day, you and Metallica, Q Prime?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Q Prime, Peter and Cliff, yeah.
So you must have a story or a party or 25 with those guys.
Oh, yeah. We grew up together. Me and Lars all threatened to play each other in racquetball, and we never got to it. He considers himself a pretty good tennis player.
Right, you're supposed to be
a pro.
pro.
Used to tell him, I used to tell him, listen, tennis ain't shit. I'll kick your ass in racquetball. And we never got together on that. But in terms of Metallica, I have nothing but the highest respect for all those guys. And and such of an admirer of what they've accomplished and how they've stayed true to what they do, and nothing but the utmost respect for every one of those guys, and they're all great guys.
Let me throw a little Metallica debate I've been having recently at you.
Okay, what are we going to? Okay.
Going old school, going to the early days when you were probably hanging and partying with them. They're thrash metal albums, and I always look at it as like they're two epic. Their two best thrash metal albums really come down to Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. If you had to pick,
it's Masters of Puppet, hands down.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That was out of those two. Tell me why Master beats out Ride the Lightning for you.
It's just more, I think the songs are better, the performances were better. It just, I don't know, it just spoke to me. You know what I mean? I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better record than Master of Puppets. And you can go on about the Black Album and, any other record in their catalog. My favorite record of theirs all time is Master of Puppets.
Me too. I'm exactly with you, but my buddy is always like, no, Ride the Lightning is better, and I'm always like, kind of.
Well, I mean, Sanitarium, Master Puppets.
Yeah.
Come on.
Damage Inc., Battery, the thing that should not be.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. But for me, I'm going to stick with Master Puppets.
Love it.
Master.
Love it. Now just pick a song for us to play for you on Mandatory Metallica. Would it be Master of Puppets or something else off that album or any album?
If you're going to play anything,
yeah,
play Sad But True.
Ah, okay. So
I think it's the greatest groove song they ever did.
So heavy and sludgy.
Right. And just the groove is just so deep and fat and wide.
Love it.
I love that. I mean, they're, love those cats. They're great.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. Honored to get to talk to you.
All right, bro.
Can't wait for the show on the 16th. See you then.
See you soon.
All righty.
Come and see me. See you.
Bye-bye.